Yu-Gi-Oh! 101 card review, hit a review a card. Coming as a TCG exclusive and Duelist Alliance. Coming August 15th, what we're looking at here is Magical Spring. It's a quick play spell card. Description: draw a number of cards equal to the number of face-up spell trap cards your opponent controls, then discard a number of cards to the number of cards equal to the number of face-up spell trap cards you control until the end of your opponent's next turn. After this card is activated, spell trap cards your opponent controls cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effect. Also, their activation cannot be negated. You can only activate one magical spring per turn. Now, pause on the card review for a sec. I know some people are wondering how could you destroy a spell or trap card by battle? Exactly how can you do that? There are trap monsters in the game that still get considered to be they are still considered as trap cards. So that's what that's for. And if there's any spell cards out there that get treated as monsters in the future, then this card that would pretty much so like work in their favor. So that's why that's in there. It's pretty much to protect trap monsters. Anyway, this card is either going to be really good or really bad. Here's why I say this. In many um in many builds, I can see this card being very helpful. More so than just any random build out there. Because this wasn't made to work with every build, regardless of the fact that you can potentially get a lot of massive draw power from this card. Everything wasn't meant for everybody. And just like that saying works for human beings, every card does not work with every deck. Even though it seems like it will, it won't. And you're going to end up putting yourself in some pretty fucked up positions. Like 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 for the people that want to play the Sylvans, you know, and they didn't really know how to use them. You got to know what you're doing. And with Magical Spring, it kind of takes on that same thing. You have to know how to use this card before, you know, like you just can't use this at randomly. You know, this isn't one of those cards where you can just use and you know expect it to work because you can put yourself in a pretty fucked up position, being that your opponent's cards cannot be destroyed by any means, nor can the activations of them being negated. I mean, yeah, granted, you get a bunch of draw power from. I mean, just depending on the number of face-up spells and traps your opponent controls. Now, yeah, you get all that draw power, but to what end? Unless you're running a certain build, such as like the Shadows, the Dark Worlds, like the Fables. If anybody's still running the Fables, that's it. That is. Um, what I'm saying? Like, who knows? What I'm saying? Like, who knows? I like maybe even the Light Sworns. Um, and some other builds out there that really thrive on monsters that have effects that activate when they get discarded from the hand, or when they get sent from the hand to the graveyard, or pretty much just when they get sent to the graveyard. Period. Um, this could be helpful for those. Now, I feel that this card can put you in like some fucked up positions. I mean, as I stated many times earlier in the video, you just have to be careful how you use this. Otherwise, like you're really gonna put yourself in a position that you don't want to be in. That's pretty much like the thing with this card. Just be careful. You know. Now it could be really good because it's a reason why they're saying that you can only activate one per turn. You know, it could be really good for a lot of builds, but you just got to be careful. So you got to ask yourself: do you really want that draw power and make your opponent's spells and traps invincible, or do you want to save yourself from having to worry about that during your opponent's next turn? Because mind you, it doesn't say that that this card affects the the current face-up spells and traps your opponent controls, it just says spells and traps, period. So they can activate anything during their next turn. New spells and traps or whatever. You can't destroy them, nor negate them. So, now I don't know if, which I think it would. I'm thinking about the pendulum monsters. When they are in their respective zones, they're treated as spell cards. So I don't know if this is going to work towards uh, this card effect, but if it does, which I'm pretty sure it should, at least considering that they're treated as spell cards, as face-up spell cards. Um, then yeah, that'll be one way to use this with ease. But at the same time, you just got to be careful, man. So yeah, link to this card is going to be in the description. You guys can check it out, and I'll see you for the next card review. Peace.